Alright, time for the second mission. Is in Jason Bourne having to infiltrate Wombosi's yacht. Sneaky!
Because of the storm, Wombosi is probably
Yeah, so
trying to
there
get
is
out
some
of here as
stealth
soon
in
as
this
possible.
game, but
You're
it's
gonna need to act
more
fast.
flavor than anything. Like you can easily live
Security
without
down
it.
these sections may be hard.
Can you drag him into the water?
No, after that you just leave the body behind. There we go.
Oh,
Your
won't the
main
soldiers notice?
No, apparently they have even more tunnel vision than the guards in MGS. But interestingly enough, your main, since you're secret spy and everything, your main pistol in rotation is a pistol with a silencer, meaning that if you aim well your aim shots, you're able to not attract attention. However, you need to be careful about the enemy placement and if they see you or not.
Because I've been playing Hitman lately, and that's when it comes to stealth series, there are two series that that people say that's how that's their biggest exposure to stealth games, either Metal Gear Solid, either Metal Gear or Hitman, and mine's Hitman, albeit the recent trilogy in my case.
Oh, shit.
What about Splinter Cell?
May still be attempting his mission. Be on high alert.
Okay.
Alright then.
Alright, how can I explain this? The controls when you're actually when you actually unholster your gun and actually have to aim it are kind of awkward in a bit of a way, because you have to firmly hold all the shoulder buttons in order to aim properly.
Also, it's nice that, it gives you a silencer for the stealth sequences.
That is true. Also, the game draws attention for you to not harm civilians, but this kind of, not dilemma, but this infring onto you will be used only very sporadically. You're free to beat the shit out of them if you want, because that won't kill them, but you cannot actually shoot them. But again, this is presented only very minimally. So, another thing that was told in the previous level but I didn't mention is oh, by the way, yeah, lockpicking. You need to just keep holding X, and that's literally it. But another mechanic that was mentioned in the previous level, but I didn't explain. Yeah, triangle activates your Bourne instinct, quote-unquote, aka the detected vision from Arkham Asylum inner Twilight objects. This is pretty much a crutch that was inserted at probably...
Wait a minute, hold on. This game came out in 2008, didn't it?
Yeah, around the same time.
So this is before Arkham Asylum, because that came out in 2009.
I thought it was 2008 as well. Give me a second. But so still, anyway, it's clearly still a crutch of some kind, because you don't really need it. The levels are still relatively, small with very visible objects for you to actually go through. So it's there only if you really are, inexperienced. It's really your first time and you don't have much time to lose or something like that. Otherwise, it would be really hard to miss some of these objects.
Who is Solomon? You screw up working for Mr. Wombosi. You learn soon.
Oh boy.
Solomon will let you know you messed up by breaking a few things. Sounds like a great guy. He's not a guy you want to tangle with.
I wonder if we'll have to fight him or not. Peekaboo!
He's getting past us!
Well, that's because you're a bunch of civilians and Bourne. Again, according to both the movies and in this game, Bourne is like an unstoppable killing machine.
So he's like, dang. He's like John Cena's character in the Marine?
I haven't seen the movie yet, so I will take their word for it. That being said, here's another word of advice. Never run towards people that are shooting you, because your L will drop almost instantaneously for it, even at lower difficulties.
Makes sense.
Also, yeah, you were correct, Joe, but Arkham Asylum came out 1 year after this.
Yeah, a year
this is
after the Dark Knight.
This is a bit of a small puzzle, because the helicopter will keep harassing you until you do something about it. So you need to actually use something like to distract the helicopter for you or not.
Is it possible Is it possible for you to hide in the water or no?
No. Again, this game has cool features, but it's still relatively limited because we probably had a very relatively low budget. Alright, let's get in here and see what we can find. Those crates essentially act as much like the ammo pack, the ammo bags in Quantum Break. They refill all ammos for all the guns that you have equipped. So,
Neat.
in this case, just run. By the way, if you fail the QTEs in this, you get this game over screen where Bourne gets spotted immediately and has to surrender, even though he was actually getting riddled with bullets until a second before.
You know, I can imagine it now. All right, Mr. Bourne, you're surrounded. Stand up with your hands and... yeah.
Basically, what I have to do now is to make that propane tank explode.
I remember this scene from the movie.
That's because, again, like I said, this expands upon the movie. It showcases a couple of missions that Bourne did before the events of the movie, and ultimately the missions where he went against Wombosi.
This is what the Bourne identity was missing. A scene where a helicopter was shooting at Matt Damon.
That's not the Matt Damon.
This is about David. It's that name.
Jeffrey Pierce.
Again,
he himself has a very perfectly serviceable, career. He will stop me from The Last of Us. There is that.
And to be fair, since back then there were a lot of comparisons between the Bourne series and 007. 007 also had a game in which a couple even in which Bond didn't look like any actor. There was I think there was GoldenEye Rogue Agent for all of like the 2 minutes Bond was there, and another one I think it was Nightfire. I'm not sure. I'll have to look it up. And we definitely know for sure that's going to be the same tactic that IO Interactive's 007 game's going to be. Basically, Bond's not going to look like any actor, although we might get skins, possibly.
Who knows? Anyway,
I mean, they have done that with Hitman.
The passports are your collectibles in this game. They really don't serve any major purpose aside from bragging rights. They do unlock some kind of artwork in the menu, but they're not really that much worth to be looked at, to be honest. But it's still a nice distraction, and the levels are short enough for you to have some replayability value. Come on, I wanted to shoot the red barrel. But here's the kicker. It will not show immediately, but you remember that takedown thing that you can perform in the end-to-end combat? You can do that also with the gun, but again, you will not be able to perform it until you're actually told by the game that you can. It is in this very mission as well, so it's just a matter of waiting for a bit. Also, as you can see, your health regenerates automatically, so it's one of those games that, it was a common thing this day and age where it was more about regenerating health for no adequate explained reason instead of having a medic hit.
Actually, it was James Bond 007 Agent Under Fire that had an original bomb.
Well,
Nightfire.
Well, remember too, indeed.
Oh, hello. Shit. Yeah, these might be tougher than expected. I don't know actually who voices Solomon because unfortunately there are a lot of voice actors that are just listed as additional voices, and they seem to be all competent enough, no real particular problems, but they're just not assigned properly to the proper voices, unfortunately. Go on, sorry.
Well, remember too, most of these action movies, the heroes manage to get through the entire movie without ever stopping to take care of their wounds anyway. So...
Well, again, it depends, but I also see what you're saying.
It really does depend.
But yeah, also the very different layout of the rooms again allows you to have different kinds of takeouts. Takeouts in this case with special actions, obviously. Like in this case, using like a screwdriver, like that. And again, it operates on Mortal Kombat, modern Mortal Kombat, like Yakuza logic, where even if you're stabbing someone, like say a screwdriver, or electrocuting them, they still get back up and act like nothing happened because the Hellbar is not down yet. It's fine. But anyway, that should take care of the Solomon, hopefully.
Hopefully.
I just took out Wombosi's lieutenant, Solomon.
Unless you checked his pulse, I wouldn't count him out. He's been through a coup and 2 civil wars with Wombosi.
You did check the pulse, right?
we kind of threw him overboard. It's a bit rough.
Super spy Jason Bourne, everybody. About as good a spy as James Bond.
Actually,
again,
to give him credit, no, he actually just functioned a lot more as a spy should.
Again, there's also the fact that it's a good thing that it's mentioned. It will become more apparent in later levels, but already with this one it started to be noticeable. But first, let's take out the helicopter. If I recall correctly, this is the last. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, the movies, the actual movie did actually took a moment to actually try to analyze the situation of Bourne as a spy and the actions he committed, and once he regains his memory, he does legitimately feel guilt about that. This game unfortunately completely bypasses that, so he basically just let Jason Bourne slaughter everyone in his path willy-nilly.
Wait, hold on. To be fair, isn't this before he gets, like, the memory wipe?
I'm talking the entire game as a whole. The movie had a point of, like, portraying these not exactly as the most positive thing ever, at the very least, or at least give some kind of moral dilemma. The game just prioritizes for fun purposes. On parts I can understand it, and oh shit, Solomon is still alive.
I'm not the one who had him and then lost him.
He definitely went on a quick recovery, all things considered.
Apparently he's really that unstoppable. Oh well.
Have any of you guys ever read the Bourne books?
No.
Nope.
Like I said, I've been told that this is more faithful slightly to the book, but considering it retraces the steps of the movie for the most part, I'm pretty sure the additions are only minimal. Yoink.
Jackal unit, move on to the south warehouse. Target may still be there.
The assassin is here!
Anyway, again, for the time being, you just need to reach Wombosi's yacht, but unfortunately, as your contact will also tell you, the more you're progressing, the more your body count is rising, and, it's kind of getting rougher for someone to actually infiltrate.
You know what I'm surprised hasn't been considered yet?
What?
A Jason Bourne TV series on Peacock.
For a moment, I thought you were going to suggest a Jason Bourne and James Bond crossover.
Nah, they're two completely different styles of spy, and
Wait, hold on. That sometimes is the point of a crossover, though.
Yeah,
now I do get the
look. You have a guy who works for America, a guy who works for England. They have to work together for a common threat, but they have two different rules. Ever seen Muppets Most Wanted?
And in regards to them being owned by different companies, well, we have stuff like Who Framed Roger Rabbit and the Marvel and DC crossovers, so...
Yeah, but how
those
many
are like
years
the
ago
exceptions rather than the rules.
All
the same, though.
Companies were not that antagonistic towards each other.
We do surprisingly still get some crossovers, so while it may not be likely, I would not chalk it up as to, impossible.
Like, let me put it this way, Jova. These days, a company would prefer acquiring the competition rather than working with them.
Plus, considering Bond's really bad, horrible history with legal disputes. Yeah.
Oh boy.
So, in a sense that nowadays Amazon will technically doesn't own the property in a sense.
Well, remember, as it works right now at the time of this recording, MGM owns half the rights to the Bond films. The other half is owned by Eon Productions, aka the family group run by the Broccoli, who's been making the film since the start.
Huh.
Back in 1962. So
it's more of a case where the Broccoli estate, dictates what company they can work with.
Well, more likely they'd be working with Amazon about the same they do with MGM.
Mm-hmm.
Because basically, if Amazon want to do like a James Bond TV show, but Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson don't want to do it, all they have to do is say no, and the conversation ends right then and there.
I still feel so sad that the family name has to be actually Broccoli.
Why?
It feels so unwanted for a family's last name,
But it's a last name you'll never forget.
I suppose it's like if I called someone like Richard Steak, like.
I don't know. Richard Steak sounds awesome.
I mean,
I'm not sure I want that
Tio.
guy for dinner, Dweebs.
I don't know, Tio, but I've had Kevin Bacon over for breakfast.
How did he taste?
Like a Tremors at Gravoid.
I don't know. For some reason, I got a bit of German out of him. I don't know why.
Okay, also another thing, holding your weapon while you're in a cover position is also the most awkward thing ever, because you need to keep holding the button, but also move the analog stick in order to position, Jason in a proper position. And again, it can be a bit awkward in multitasking. It's just that it's a thing that you get better at the more you play the game, but in the early stages it can be, again, very awkward. Alright, let's pass through here. Yeah, I think the body count is rising too much at this point.
Possibly.
I'm looking forward to when we get to what's the next one? The Bourne Supremacy.
The second movie, I forgot what it's called, yes.
The movies. I think it's called The Bourne Supremacy, yeah. Although, hang on. So let me check to be sure before I say anything more. So yeah, that was The Bourne Identity in 2002. And the next one is indeed The Bourne Supremacy.
And then the Ultimatum.
And then Ultimatum. Although again, there is a bit near the beginning of Bourne Supremacy that I'm not sure at least one or two of you will really like that much.
Well, we'll see when we get to that, Libs, don't worry. There we go. Now it uses this bullet time kind of thing. Like, if you have enough stocks, ready of your special meter, you can perform these like quick, bullet time moments where Jason's like insta kills everyone with a gun, one per each. It is a bit similar to Red Dead Redemption's bullet time, sorta. It also does remind me of the ultimate from I forgot the name of the character in Overwatch. Cletus, I think. Yeah. The Heinung guy. It's kind of like that as well, but
no. That's McCree you're thinking of.
The Remember Jova, they changed the name.
The assassin is moving. Rhino, report on status. Rhino unit is down.
Vulture and Roots. We have him at the entrance to the dry dock.
Essentially, again, as long as you manage to fill him enough and keep him conserve, your super meter, you know, you can actually clear away hordes of goons with relative ease, even on harder difficulties. Again, it's effectively, you know, a good idea to just strategize and not consume them immediately and just play safely. Another thing is that despite the 1-2-3 combos where you can perform with square looks, you know, same identical, the timing, you know, when you actually manage to perform it combined with the triangle heavy punch can allow you to differentiate a bit of the combo you perform, which allows you also to avoid enemy blocking, which is important because enemies later stages love to block your attack constantly. Also, as you can see, some of the covers is destructible, so yeah, sometimes
It's
the
not
best
like
option
you
is to
can just
run.
camp.
Like I said, running towards an enemy with a gun is the worst thing you can do, so don't try it with a dome, kids. But getting to an enemy with a gun will immediately initiate a hand-to-hand combat. But the problem is that another enemy that has a gun can still shoot if you're in their line of sight. So you need to be actually extra careful of that. Alright, let's gather this passport. There we go. Also, I didn't mention the score. Let me see if it's credited, the composer. Paul Oakenfold.
I recognise that name.
Let me see.
He's a British.
Oh, he composed for Planet of the Apes 2001. Apparently, he was the composer for at least the first movie, so it's cool, I guess.
Or Confold. No, I think John Powell did those scores.
It's mentioned here. It's actually created here. Bourne Identity soundtrack, 2002.
Yeah, I think that was like a music track that was used.
Oh, so it like was for just one. Okay.
Yeah. He has done some soundtracks for things. His thing is mainly just, you know, making songs, but he has done the occasional film and TV score every so often. Like he did the score for GoldenEye Rogue Agent, of all films, and of all games. I mean, sorry. And some of his songs have popped up in other things as well, like Speed Racer.
Oh, neat.
Also, apparently he did the score for 2 of the Marvel's one-shot, The Consultant and A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to Thor's Hammer. Cute.
And also I know him for making the song called Stars and something. I can't remember the name exactly, but I know... Starry-Eyed Surprise. Yeah, basically it's a trippy song about the dangers of being high and drunk, and being on bad drugs.
Also, there's almost no real strategy when it comes to actually, you know, gun-for-gun combat. As in, headshots work fine, but if you shoot enough in any part of the body, legs, arms, or, you know, torso included, you're easily good to go. Anyway, you can also carry different weapons, but of course, because Halo and Gears introduced that with their multiplayer, you can only carry M2 at a time. And your pistol with silencer is still your best option, so you basically have to choose your secondary. The shotgun is situational. Like in most games, it's really cool. It's really cool at close range, but for a game like this, it's not your best viable option. And now you also have a time limit. Great.
A game. So wait, is it like this for the whole game? You can only have 2 weapons
at a time, yes. But you will be able.
So I see GoldenEye Rogue Agent inspired one other game at least.
Unfortunately, since this is also another simple game, there's no real like upgrade system or customization levels. You just get like these simple weapons, pick them up, pick them up from fallen enemies, and are good to go. Again, I mentioned multiple times in the past, but I'm not the biggest fan of this kind of thing. Yeah, Bourne set this up, but you also had a time limit for it. Remember, he mentioned to his contact that he uses this to cause a scene.
Move your ass, soldier. The last supply ship's pulling away.
Sorry, I really don't have time for this.
It's alright, we didn't kill you, just knocked you out.
Boat's your last chance.
Oh, but speaking of GoldenEye Rogue Agents,
There we go.
there was a pretty bizarre choice of art director in that game. Takayoshi Sato. You mainly know him for doing stuff like that for the Silent Hill games and more recently Luigi's Mansion 3. How he goes from Silent Hill to Bourne to Luigi's Mansion is
Versatile.
It happens.
Also, gotta love
I
how...
mean, just look at Jake Kaufman's library.
Okay, now you're basically have to defend, not defend the boat, but essentially resist from the different mooks that come aboard before Solomon decides to show his face again.
Kudos to the guys who pretty much know the rule that nobody means he's obviously probably still
Solomon
alive.
is incredibly savvy in a sense, and you know it showcased the competence of Wombosi's man. Although he did mention that he's getting help from some Corsicans to see if we're around the area, so we'll have to see if they'll show up as well.
I'm surprised they didn't have weapons.
No, apparently these guys prefer to just beat the shit out of me. Fair enough, I guess.
There's no honor. There's no honor in killing you.
Maybe they did not have time to pack them up. But it's
Possible,
also very
yeah.
possible.
Yeah, given that, you know, they were trying to race after him, they probably didn't have
And
time
remember-
to pack all the weapons. So
remember
especially
one
considering how we blew up a good shipment of them.
There we go. Also remember, Wombosi is on his yacht right now, so these people were not even supposed to actually do particularly anything to him. Yeah, again, like I hinted it a bit in the previous part, but sometimes during the hand-to-hand combat sequences, the camera can just decide to do whatever the fuck it wants.
Oh, that's just
It's-
lovely.
It's not super distracting because you still see the enemy and everything, but... okay. I think we're missing a line. Whatever. Round 2 with Solomon, and of course it starts to thunder right as he shows up.
so it's half past dead all over again.
Sure.
Where there's literally a scene where Steven Seagal is clearly moving his mouth and yet nothing's coming out of it.
What?
Ooh, that looks
Yeah,
like it hurt.
I can believe that.
I just recently found out that Steven Seagal was in the movie with Mike Tyson.
That's the thing that most of the recent Steven Seagal filmography is just depressing. Not even a saying that it's just bad, it's also depressing because the guy barely does anything. His acting has dropped considerably. You know, in the movies where he's involved in are just pathetic.
Yeah, literally, his only recent, and I use that term loosely, somewhat success in a movie was in Machete.
Like, what the fuck happened to the guy?
Well, I can tell you what happened.
The ego.
His ego.
His agent.
He was considerably out of shape. And he started a movie with Ja Rule.
Oof.
Half past dead.
That movie sounds like it really
Also-
grinds your gears with how much you've been...
Well, it did. Well, I mean, there was another significant thing about that movie. It was his last theatrical role before he was sent to be
Alright,
Deadly Circle of Hell that was direct-to-DVD movies, aside from Machete.
Unfortunately, this round goes to Solomon.
Or does it?
Straight to Davy Jones' locker, I guess.
No, man, I've seen this in Mortal Kombat 11.
Don't worry. All we gotta do is go underwater and get him out.
Oh no, pay attention. Yeah, second. It manages to untangle himself and still, you know, track there.
See, I told you, he got himself out the locker.
I guess it was the best option for him. Anyway, tune in next time where we actually reach properly the yacht of Wombosi. See ya.
See you then.
Yeah.
Yeah.